I hope you all watched what Illinois did over the weekend, because I told you about that game. We did 2 segments on it last week here on the show, going to Duke, an opportunity for the Blue Devils to announce their arrival into the next tier up of college football teams. They didn't accomplish that. They turned the ball over too many times. Illinois took advantage because the Illini are a good team, and if you give a good team those sorts of opportunities, they tend to take advantage. Illinois did just that. And so Luke Altmaier is somebody that has had quite the college football career. Started at Ole Miss, it didn't work out, goes to Illinois, things start a little bit slowly, comes into this year with legitimate playoff expectations. And I think when you look at the Illini, even though they lost their starting running back in the offseason, they know how to run the football. Luke Altmaier can do enough passing. They just look like a very balanced team to me. Like, I get the sense when Illinois gets into a big game, they could win it in a number of different ways. I know how they want to win it. Toughness, physicality, grind it out, kind of a Michigan light, if you will. But I look at this Illini team on both sides of the ball and say, I feel like you can win a game with defense. I feel like you can win running the ball. I feel like you can win throwing the ball. Or you could do a little bit of everything, which is, I think, when they're at their best. But they went on the road and won at Duke, a game that several game day experts, I had Illinois winning the game and covering, if you rode. That wasn't one of the best bets, but I had them winning 31-27. They won the game 45-19. They ran away with it there at the end. It was much closer than that. I'll give Duke that credit. But for Illinois to be in the position where they are, they don't have a tough game this week because that's just how college football works sometimes. They have Western Michigan. They're going to be just fine. Next week, though, it gets exciting. They start Big Ten play by traveling to Indiana and hosting USC. If Illinois goes 2-0 in those games, do you understand? That's an if. That is an if. Because USC is not a team that's getting talked about a lot because they haven't played a marquee game at this point in time. And so they're under people's radar. They weren't a preseason top 25 team. I had them going 9-3 coming into the year. Talked about them a while back with my guy Yogi Roth of the Big Ten Network. And guess what? USC is a team that so far looks good. Jaden Mayava's lighting the world on fire. Jacoby Lane is great. We'll see what happens. They're on the road against Purdue this week. They're a hefty favorite. But if Illinois goes at Indiana and wins, which I believe they will, and then they come home and beat USC, here's the rest of their schedule for the entire year. At Purdue, rebuilding. Ohio State at home will be one of the biggest games in the history of Champaign, Illinois at Memorial Stadium. Might be the biggest, quite frankly, because the Illini are currently ranked in the top 10. Do you realize that? What if they add a ranked win against Indiana and maybe another ranked win against USC the following week? That would be fantastic. Game day could wind up in Champaign that week. They go at Washington. That's a hard game. Here's the back half of their schedule. Rutgers, Maryland, at Wisconsin, Northwestern. 3 of those 4 are at home. The road game is Wisconsin. Never sleep. Never overlook going to Madison. Camp Randall's tough. But man, Illinois is playing like a college football playoff team. It's only 2 weeks into the season. It's only 2 weeks into the season. But I talked about them in the offseason as, hey, this is not a team you should overlook. They're my preseason number 4 power-rated team in the Big Ten. They have rewarded that faith so far. If they are able to knock off Indiana and USC, one on the road and one at home, I'm just telling you, that schedule sets up incredibly well for them to go at least 10-2. And frankly, if they just split those games, 10-2 is on the table. And if you're 10-2 in the Big Ten with a road win against a Duke team that's probably going to be a 7-8, maybe 9-win team in the ACC this year, you should be able to get into the college football playoff. Just keep an eye. Just keep an eye on that one. Next one, South Florida. Oh, the Bulls. The Bulls have just done more than insert themselves into the Group of 5 playoff conversation. They might be the front runner at this point in time. They have what Tulane does not currently have. They have a ranking. Yeah. The South Florida Bulls are inside the top 20. You should be when you go on the road and win against who the AP had overrated, albeit, but I would have had them ranked inside the top 25 this year, maybe like 24 or something in that range. The Florida Gators. You go beat Florida on the road after you beat Boise State. You beat 2 preseason top 25 teams. That's all it takes. I don't know why South Florida isn't higher in the rankings, but alas, they are in there at number 18. Now, Tulane does not have a top 25 ranking attached to it at the moment. They scraped by South Alabama on the road last week, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to find a way to win. Tulane this week, in a game I will definitely be discussing here on the show, has got the Darien Mensa Bowl. Duke is coming to town. Tulane's got those 3 Power 4 opportunities. They thumped Northwestern earlier this year. They've got Duke this week, and then they will have Ole Miss on the road. Now, Ole Miss, that's a tall mountain to climb. Certainly Ole Miss has never lost a game to a team that they should beat. And SEC teams never get upset by Group of 5 teams on their home field, right? Those things don't happen. I've never seen them happen before. So surely Tulane couldn't go into Oxford and get a win, right? That's totally impossible. I'm getting ahead of myself here, way ahead of myself, because the Green Wave are playing darn good football. South Alabama's respectable. Winning on the road is hard for anybody. Wasn't the best performance for John Sumrall's defense, but you know what? They got it done. They found a way. And remember, Jake Retzloff is down there. He just led BYU to an 11-win season. Tulane does not have a schedule that is as difficult as what BYU had a season ago because they're trying to win the American. Now, the exciting thing for South Florida and Tulane is actually, to me, that they don't meet in the regular season. They will not play a game against each other unless it's in the American Championship game. That American Championship game, if, this is an if. This is a long college football season. We're still in early September. I know once football returns, it feels like you have been back and enjoying it for many, many months and weeks, but I'm just giving you the lay of the land at this point in the year. If South Florida and Tulane meet in the American Championship game, you could have a playoff berth on the line. That'd be fun. That would be, far be it from me to support the expanded playoff. I will admit, there are some times where I'm like, okay, that can be kind of fun right there. So it'd be exciting. But South Florida goes to Miami this week. They're a point spread underdog. Let me make sure I've got the right number here according to our friends at FanDuel. They are 17.5 point underdogs. Again, in Coral Gables, in-state, Power 4 matchup, 17.5 point underdog. Miami should win. They should win handily. Are you prepared for the possibility? Mario Cristobal has lost some pretty bad games over the years when his teams have looked good in other spots. Are you prepared for the possibility of South Florida being 3-0 and ranked inside the top 10 of college football? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there just to have some fun. Illinois' path to the playoff, incredibly clear. South Florida's path, incredibly clear. So too is Tulane's. The Group of 5 race is looking a little thinner than it feels like it has in years past. We'll see if anyone else can emerge, like a James Madison, for instance, if Boise State can get back into the fold. But right now, I look at Tulane and South Florida and say, hey, those are my G5 playoff favorites.